our challenge with our guys is learn how to handle success, learn how to handle failure, because you're going to have both. So, immature people don't handle failure really good. Negative people don't handle failure very good. But it's all part of a grand plan. They're going to live their lives after basketball a lot longer than they're going to play basketball. So the basketball part, the games, is such a short window of who they are and what their life is. But I think the more you win, the more you get on a national stage.
All right, welcome back here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. John and Lance along with Dell bringing in the head coach of the Houston Cougars, one of the top teams in the country. ESPN Game Day coming here for the big matchup against Iowa State tomorrow. Want you all out there being loud, having fun, and showing what kind of basketball school this is, because make no mistake about it, University of Houston is a basketball school, and the head coach is joining us right now on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Coach, welcome to the show. Thanks for giving us some of your time.
Good being with you guys, John and Lance. How you guys doing?
We're doing good,
We're doing
Coach.
great, man. Hey, so I want to start with this. As a coach, that one of your players, I mean, I was tearing up reading the story about Jaywan sending you the text of how much he appreciates you and what you mean to him in his life and everything else. And I'm like, wow, that has to be, with the wins and everything else that you do, Coach, to have a player express how much he appreciates you. That's got to be about as good as it gets for a coach.
And when you get into coaching, that's one of the main reasons why. We all would like to win championships and win a national title and all that, but those things are difficult to do, no matter how good you are. There's so many things that affect that, but long after your coaching career is over, it's relationships that you've formed, the players that you've had, and the impact you've had on their lives. That's what you want to be remembered for. I have a great relationship with all our players. In the summer they all come back. Even from the early years, Devontae Pollard and L.J. Rose, Devin Davis, Rob Gray, Galen Robinson, Corey Davis, Armani Brooks. They make this place home. And, we set about to create a family atmosphere where they could come and have something that they could attach to and grow with. And all the former players that come back, relationships you have with those guys, the current players, it's just been very, very fulfilling and very rewarding, and I really appreciate these guys.
That's got to be – my dad's a coach, my brother's a coach, grew up in that kind of family. I'm curious, though, Coach, because the pressure, once you move up, into different ranks, there becomes a different focus on winning, and there's pressure. And how hard is it to keep your balance between that initial love of wanting to make guys better, but also, as you talked about, the relationships of being more than just a coach, but building up men? How hard is it to remind yourself or to keep that balance between the pressures and struggles of winning at a high level where you are versus that same core belief when you got into the sport?
No, that's a great question. I think the ultimate lesson here for our guys is that, we want to win championships. When we got to the Big 12, we thought we could compete. When we lose outstanding players like Quentin Grimes or Marcus Sasser or Jamal Shedd, our team is going to change every year. Even if you lose one guy, your team changes because you're bringing new players in. But I think our challenge with our guys is learn how to handle success, learn how to handle failure, because you're going to have both. Immature people don't handle failure really good. Negative people don't handle failure very good. But it's all part of a grand plan. They're going to live their lives after basketball a lot longer than they're going to play basketball. So the basketball part, the games, is such a short window of who they are and what their life is. But I think the more you win, the more you get on a national stage. We've went around here a lot. Most of these kids come here expecting to win. And I think our staff does a great job of helping them balance winning and losing. And the comparison that is to the life that they're going to lead once they leave here. You're going to fail after you leave here. You're going to fail while you're here. Figure out how you can get better through it all, and don't stop trying. Don't ever quit. Just keep going. And I've enjoyed that part of it as much as anything.
Kelvin Sampson with us here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. And I know you can't talk about recruits, Coach, but and specifically about recruits, but it looks like with the commitments and the noise around the program and the guys that look like they're coming in. First of all, you're getting looks like you're concentrating on high school players, and secondly, like huge names. Is something changed? Because you've gotten the Jarris Walkers before. You've gotten, Quentin Grimes came over after he played over there. But this looks like it's different this year. Is it easier to get guys with all your success that you've had lately?
Well, it's a combination of things. Most kids that come out of high school, especially the upper tier, they want to play in the NBA. They want to go somewhere where they're going to get developed to be NBA players. And I think we've had 3 first-round draft choices, a lottery pick. We've got a couple of guys drafted in the second round, and Damian Dotson and Jamal. Being a number 1 seed for 2 consecutive years, 100-plus weeks of being ranked in the top 25. People outside our area have tremendous amount of respect for our program. And that's why we're able to go after some of these kids. But, the success we've had has been with guys that most people wouldn't know. Marcus Sasso was ranked in the 300s. He's a first-round draft choice. Jamal was probably 150, top kid. He started games this year, his rookie year, for the Toronto Raptors. Quentin Grimes has already had 2 30-point games in his career. He chose to come here from Kansas. L.J. Cryer came here from Baylor. Milos Uzan transferred from Oklahoma. So these guys, kids that we're recruiting, see this as a destination stop. All of our dreams and goals, everything we want to accomplish in life can be done at the University of Houston. We have top-notch facilities. Our administration has done an awesome job in giving us the resources we need, whether from a facility standpoint, travel standpoint, upgrading our facility after we moved into it in 2016. We've already had a major renovation just since then. So keeping our program at the top of the country, being ranked in the top 5, top 10, people see that. Kids take notice. These mothers and fathers are want their sons to go to a place where they're going to grow from boys to men, win at a high level, and have a chance to get drafted. And that's why we're getting these kids.
Coach, you had a special leader last year in Jamal Shed. What has happened to the leadership role on the team? Who's filled that leadership role, and how has that what's that transition look like after having, a guy of Shed's caliber in there for as long as you had him?
Well, I think where some people misunderstood our program is, we've always lost a pro for how many years, and our program is bigger than any individual. Most people thought we'd take a drop after we lost Jarris. Jarris was the number 8 pick. Marcus was the number 25 pick. They played on the same team. So how were we going to replace those guys? Well, then the year after they left, we won the Big 12 championship. We're losing Jamal. How will we replace Jamal? Well, we don't ever replace a player. What we do is take our whole and try to make it the best it can be. We knew that we had a really good player coming in from Oklahoma in Milo Suzanne. He was going to be different than any of the point guards, but he was never replacing Jamal. He was coming in here. He came in here, and we told him, here's what we like about you. Be that guy. Don't worry about replacing somebody. It has nothing to do with our success. We've had success no matter who's left because we focused on our team and not replacing an individual. We're sitting here after 15 games. We're 14-1. I think we're ranked in the top 5. And we've been really consistent with winning at a high level, regardless of who left and regardless of who came in. Our program has always thrived because we focus on that.
Kelvin Sampson with us here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. And, man, Coach, I know you've had to live this thing, the injuries at the end of the seasons with Tremont, with Marcus Sasser, with Jamal. I mean, it just seems like it's the worst of luck. Early on, Emmanuel has the ankle injury. Does he look like he's getting back to early on Emmanuel yet? Or because he had a nice game against Arizona State, and do you have to have him and his offensive prowess to go deep in this tournament?
Absolutely. We've kind of settled into an 8-man rotation, and we sat Emmanuel down for about 10 days. He didn't get to practice. He wasn't shooting. We put him in a boot so we could promote his healing. Against Arizona, his performance was, from the inside out, was kind of predictable. You don't sit out 10 days and come back and pick up where you left off. It's a gradual climb back up. The second half against Arizona State, kind of like the old Emmanuel. And I think tomorrow, Monday, going into the last weekend at home, the following weekend, Emmanuel's going to get better and better and better. But he's a huge part of our success. We need him playing well for us to be the best we can be.
Coach, I'm curious about if there was a conscious decision made from a 3-point standpoint. Your 3-point percentages are almost always 34% as a team. 34%. I think you're like 36% back in 19, 20, 2021, something like that. This year you're at almost 40%. You've got 3 or 4 guys shooting 40% from 3 in your regular rotation. Was there a decision made? Is it something you work more on, or is it just something that's happening organically this year?
I'd say from a recruiting standpoint, we knew what we were getting with LJ. So this is his second year in the program. We knew what we were getting with Emmanuel. At the end of last year, when Jamal got hurt, everybody focused on, well, if Jamal hadn't got hurt. Well, we also lost JoJo Tugler in February. We lost 2 guys that were huge parts of that team, but that wasn't a great shooting team. Milos has improved as a shooter. Terrence Arsenault has improved as a shooter. And then Emmanuel and LJ are both guys capable of making 100 threes in the season, just like we did when we had Armani Brooks and Corey Davis. Those kids were probably the 2 best shooters on one team that I've had, and they both made well over 100. LJ's probably going to wind up with over 100 this year, and Emmanuel, had he not got hurt, would probably be right there at 100, and that's kind of a demarcation line. If you're over 100 threes, that means you're an outstanding shooter. But I can't get enough credit to our staff. Player development has always been probably the most important thing here because we haven't always recruited the highest end talent that people see. But the guys we recruit are guys we felt like could be successful in this program and their development. But Kellen, Quantas, Hollis, KC, Goldie, I'm blessed to have an awesome staff. And those guys do a great job with not just individual development, but also position development. And guys come here that want to get better. But we are a better shooting team. And that bails us out at the end of the shot clock sometime, or we're able to get more threes in transition, more threes on offensive rebounds. So everything we do is kind of a plan, but having two outstanding shooters like Emmanuel and LJ has really elevated us. And our guys grow old in our program. You know, our kids don't transfer. It's not that we don't have transfers. Tremont Mark transferred. Who else transferred? Caleb Mills transferred. Damian Dunn transferred. And all those guys made the best decision for them. But that had nothing to do with our success going forward because we believe so much in player development.
Kelvin Sampson with us here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Coach, I was at the Texas Tech game earlier this year. I was at the Iowa State game last year. Those two teams, I kind of feel like look at where they are, 8 and 9. You guys are 5. They kind of I kind of feel like those teams that you got coming up next, Iowa State, and then you got to go to Texas Tech, that they almost play like you guys. It's almost like look at the 3 teams in the top 10 that play very similar basketball.
No, that's a great point. Both teams. Iowa State and Texas Tech, both have really improved offensively from last year. Grant McCaslin and T.J. Otzelberger, those guys are two of the best coaches in the country. They've got awesome programs, great fan bases, great facilities, great arenas. They pack their place. But so do we. You know, we pack our arena. We stay nationally relevant year in and year out. But Iowa State and Texas Tech, you know, if we were to look in the mirror, we'd probably see similar cultures, the way we go about our business. But I think Texas Tech and Iowa State have made a concerted effort to be better offensively, and they are. I mean, they're both unbelievable challenges. But our kids are excited about it. Coaches are excited about it. We're looking forward to playing both those schools.
Yeah, maybe Grant McCaslin can last more than 2 minutes in the game. That'd be. I've never seen a coach lose his mind like. Well, you wouldn't lose your mind like that, right, during the game?
Well, I've been known to lose it occasionally.
Hey, that brings up. I heard you talk about Bobby Hurley the other day and how you feel for him when you're going through stuff like that. Scott Drew was here and said something interesting about maybe we don't appreciate you enough. You don't. Did you hear what he had to say? And you don't. I'm hoping you don't feel that way at all.
Well, I'm too old to worry about a whole lot now. You know, I'm 69 years old, so people's opinions and what they say mean very little to me. I'm way too far on the back nine to worry about what other people say.
Once you've had to coach,
well, he was hoping that we would appreciate you more. That's all.
Yeah. Well, John, once you've had to coach James Harden defensively, nothing else really. You're pretty much numb to everything else.
Yeah. No. You know, James and I still have a great relationship. He'll watch our games or see a score, and he'll shoot me a text. So James is one of my guys.
He's a smart basketball guy. He's got great basketball IQ, I've heard.
He does.
We kind of feel like Ime's trying to. We kind of feel like Ime's trying to do. You know, to have that same kind of intensity. It's got to be. You know, it's got to be a lot harder at the NBA. You were at the NBA level, and in this city, as a matter of fact, it's got to be a lot harder for Ime to get that kind of intensity that your guys get night in and night out.
Yeah, but Ime's a demander. You know, he gets his guys to buy in. And when you look at the best players over there, you know, a guy like Amen Thompson, that dude is he's going to be a star in this league for a long time. And they've done an awesome job of putting their pieces together. Sangoon, he's fun to watch. So you got high-quality, high character, guys that care about something bigger than themselves. I mean, they're all professional athletes. But you look at the Boston Celtics or the Spurs in their heyday, the best teams, the Lakers in their heyday. They all had best players that embrace winning over individual statistics, and that's what makes this thing special.
Yeah, you said something, Coach, that has stuck with me for. Well, I've used it with other people in like NFL circles, but it really comes to mind with Ime and something Rockets needed. You said the key to success in building culture is not being afraid of confrontation. And I feel like that's what Ime Udoka brought into this organization that really helped turn things around.
Well, culture setters, guys that establish great cultures, it does start with the head coach. But he also has to have non-negotiables. And that starts with your attitude and your effort. When I walk into the gym every day to start practice, I take my two fingers and I put them on my pulse, on my hand to check the pulse of the team. You know, you can tell by body language where somebody's head's at. And if I walk into the gym and I don't see the right attitude and the right effort, we address it right away. You know, come into practice every day to get better. I don't care what time of year it is. It's an individual decision. You're either an energy giver or you're an energy taker. And I don't like guys that take energy out of the gym. Bring your best energy. Bring your best attitude. Be ready to give your best effort. Those are things that are all controllable by you. And that's something that we've emphasized and demanded here for 11 years now.
That's Kelvin Sampson. Iowa State tomorrow. ESPN College Game Day in town. Big-time basketball right here in the city of Houston. Coach, man, we appreciate your time. Thanks. We know you're busy. We are rooting for you. We love watching your team play. We love the way that they do play, and continued success. And stay healthy. Stay healthy, Coach.
Yeah. No, I hear you, brother. Always appreciate
man.
you. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. That's Kelvin Sampson with us here on ESPN 97.5.